Good morning students. Today we will start with our another chapter in geography from class 6, and that is maps. Now see students, we need to know that what are maps. But we can say that what is a map? A map is a representation or the drawing of the earth's surface or a part of it drawn on a flat surface according to a particular scale. Now what is it? What is a map? The map is basically the drawing of a particular place or the drawing of the earth's surface. You used to see now, like if we take the example of Google map, or when we used to go via metro, we used to see in map. Now what is that? What they are representing? They are representing, say you are going to Connaught Place or at some other places. That doesn't mean that Connaught Place is at that place. No, and there is existing in reality. That is just the representation of that. So the representation of earth in various forms, like we have different landforms, we have different rivers, animals, plants. So the representation of the earth on different scale is called as map. Now the question is, what is a scale? What is map, student? It is clear? A map is the representation. Representation of what? Representation of earth's surface and a part of it according to a particular scale. Now next is political map. Now what we have? Political maps and physical maps and other maps also. Now what are political maps? Maps showing the natural features of the earth. Natural features like plains, mountains, plateaus, rivers, oceans. Such maps are called as political maps. That is, such map is called as physical maps because they are showing the boundaries. Physical map shows the boundaries like mountains, plateaus, plains, rivers, etc. And second map is political maps. Now what are political maps? See, political maps basically represent a particular state or particular area, particular location. For example, particular village, particular town, particular cities, etc. Then is thematic maps. Some maps give us particular information like road map, rainfall maps. I already told you na. Metro map. They give you specific information that this is going in which direction. Such maps are called as thematic map. Industries map, forest maps. They are giving information about particular things. So they are thematic maps. The next is, there are three components of maps and these are distance, direction and symbol. Now what is distance? We can say that maps are drawings which reduce the entire world or part of it on a small sheet of paper. The map is this sheet of paper and the entire world is so large. So we are just representing it on that map. So we need to have certain distance. So what we can say? We can say that the distance between the places is real. Like 10 kilometer distance is there, 4 kilometer distance is there. But in reality, we cannot represent it. That is just the representation of the actual distance on a piece of paper, and that is called as distance. Now what is scale? Remember in starting I told you representation of the earth according to particular scale. So what is scale? Scale is the ratio. Ratio, what do you mean by ratio? The division. The ratio between the actual distance, suppose the actual distance is 20 kilometers. On the ground and the distance shown on the map. Distance shown on the map is 10 kilometers. So the ratio will be 20 divided by 10, 2:1. So this representation, this ratio is called as the scale. For example, the distance between your school and your home is 10 kilometers. If you show this 10 kilometer distance by 2 centimeters, actually it's in kilometer, but on map you are representing it with the help of 2 centimeters. That means on map you are going to show it only 5 kilometers. It is not actual, you can say distance, it is just the representation in particular scale. Kilometer we are representing in terms of centimeter. 1 centimeter is equals to 5 kilometers. Thus, scale is very important in any map. Moving ahead students, which we are representing only on a piece of paper. Now what is said here? When a small area like your village or town is to be shown on a particular paper, then we use large scale, not short scale, large scale, like 5 centimeter, and the map shows 500 meters only on the ground. For 5 centimeter we are using 500 meters. So this is called as large scale map. Large scale map we are taking. On large scale map, what we are doing? We are taking the distance on large basis. Small scale, small distances. What needs to say is, actual representation is not there. 10 kilometer, 100 kilometer, 20 kilometer. No, that actual representation is not there. Instead of the actual representation, they are given in small terms, in terms of scale. Like 1 centimeter is this much, 2 centimeter is this much, and that is scale. We have small scale and we have large. Is directions. Last time also, students, we discussed that we have major 4 directions, and these are north, west, east and south, where we used to represent north by N, capital N, west by W, east by E and south by S. And after these 4 major directions, students, we have studied that certain major directions are also there. In map also I shown you last time, as you can see in this direction, that these are major directions: north, south, east and west. But the direction or located between north and east is northeast direction. The direction located between east and south is southeast direction. Direction located between west and south is southwest direction. And direction located between north and west is northwest direction. So students, these are the other sub-directions, and we have 4 major directions. So these are directions. Now students, what is the use of direction? The use of, suppose if you are going somewhere, you used to say, na, where is this particular place? One type of direction is go right, go left, or other is go to the north, then turn left, then go to the south, then go straight. So what are these directions? What are the uses of these directions? They help us to reach the particular place or the particular location where we want to reach. So students, what is said here? It is said here that it is an instrument used to find out main directions. What is the instrument which is used to find out the main direction? Compass. Compass is one of the instrument which is used to find out the main direction. And in compass, it's magnetic needle. There is one magnetic needle in the compass which always point out towards north-south direction. So if someone asks you what is compass, so you can say that the compass is an instrument which is used to find out main directions. And what are main directions? North, south, east and west. If you want to find out about any of these directions, you are stuck somewhere, you want to find out about any of these particular directions, then which instrument are you going to use? You are going to use compass, which contains a magnetic needle in it. You can see here also, this is the compass. One magnetic needle is here and it is used to locate, or it is used to find out different directions. Then is symbols. Students, listen, if I want to reach mountains, or I want to reach to a particular river, or I want to reach to a particular lake, so what will happen? Suppose you are reaching to mountains, what they used to do, you used to see that the mountain symbol is there, or you used to see nearby ocean areas, rivers or lake areas, river symbol is there depicted on the board. Why those? So what is the use of that symbol, or what are these symbols? That is because to guide the people, to tell them that this is the particular direction. If you want to go to this lake, you can follow this direction. So what is that? That is mountain symbol, or that is river symbol. And why are we using symbols? Because we cannot have the real representation of a particular thing. Real representation means we cannot donate or denominate the mountain in reality. We cannot show the river in reality. but we have to show it, we have to represent it. So to represent it, we used to represent it in the form of symbols, that is in the form of pictures. Each particular thing or each particular, you can say, concept is given with different symbols. So let's see, students, what is symbol? It is not possible to draw on map the actual shape and size of different features such as buildings, roads, bridges, etc., railway lines. If you are making a map is just a small piece of paper. So is it possible that you are going to draw the complete railway line on that small piece of paper? No, that is not possible. You are making even mountain features also. You are showing mountains map. As I told you earlier, is it possible that you are going to draw the whole mountain region on that small piece of paper? Not possible. So in that case, as the real presentation is not possible, we used to represent them pictorially or with the help of images called as symbols. So they are shown by using certain letters. So in symbols, what we use, the symbol can be a particular letter, can be a particular shade, particular color, particular shape, particular picture, lines, space, anything can be used as symbol. Then is, these symbols give a lot of information in limited space. On that small piece of paper called map, very limited space, we used to get lot of information about the particular thing. Thereafter, student, with the use of these symbols, map can be drawn easily and are simple to read. And these symbols make us comfortable that we can read the map easily without any discomfort. And we can also be able to find out the destination or particular place where we want to reach. So what is there? Maps have a universal language that can be understood by all. All maps have universal language. Universal language means if two lines, say two lines are used to represent railway lines, then wherever in the world or wherever at which place you are going, wherever you are seeing the map, those two lines will be representing the railway lines only. If you are using this particular symbol for river, then what will happen? This symbol is used as river only everywhere. So what is that? That is its universal acceptance at every place or everywhere. Then is, there is an international agreement regarding the use of these symbols. As I already told you, international agreement means if I am representing with two parallel lines as railway lines in India, and if I am going in USA, then same two parallel lines will be used to represent railway lines in USA also. If I am going in Canada, then same two parallel lines will be used to represent railway lines in Canada only, because they already have an international agreement which particular symbol, which particular letter is going to denote what, is going to represent what. So here are certain conventional symbols, students, as you can see. Like first one is regarding railway line. Road guards, needle guards and railway station. These are the symbols. What are these? These are the conventional symbols that are internationally accepted. You are going to find these symbols at all the places which used to represent railway lines. The next is roads. We have two types of roads. First is metal road and second is unmetalled road. Metal road, parallel lines, unmetalled roads, parallel with little bit difference. Then is boundary. International boundary, state boundary, district boundary, as I already told you. See, when you enter to another place from one place, so say right now you are residing in Haryana and you are going to Punjab. Punjab is an adjacent state to Haryana, right now. So what will happen when you will move towards Punjab, you will find a particular symbol that will represent that you are moving to other state. So for state, which symbol is there? This particular symbol is there which used to represent state. This represent international boundary and this represent district boundary. If you are moving from district Jhajjar to some other district, then this particular symbol is going to be there, that you are going to found on the depicted boards that are usually present on the roads to help the people. Then is rivers, well, tank, canal and bridge. For river, for well, for tank, for canal and for bridge. These are the conventional symbols because originally representing river on a small piece of paper is not possible. So all these are conventional symbols. The next is temple. This is for temple, this is for church, then is mosque, and then is chhatri. These are the different symbols. The next is post office. Letters. I said na, a symbol can be images, pictures as well as letters also. First one is post office. Wherever the word PO, capital P and capital O is written, it always signifies or always represent post office. That is post and telegraph office. It can be represented with the help of PPO. And then is police station, that is PS. Thereafter next is settlement and graveyard. Settlement, that people are sitting here. Graveyard, what is graveyard? Graveyard is the place where dead bodies are buried. That particular place is called as graveyard. So wherever you are going to see this symbol, that means this is the direction or this is the place where graveyard is located. The next is trees and grass. For trees this symbol and for grass this symbols, and these are internationally accepted symbols that we are going to find at every place. Thereafter students, various colors are used for the same purpose. We use different colors for same purpose. Let's take an example. For example, generally blue is used to showing water bodies. Wherever generally what happens if you are showing any of the river body, any lake, for water bodies, it is always represented with the help of blue color. On the other hand, if you are talking about mountains, brown color is used to represent mountains. Then is yellow. Yellow color is used for plateaus and green color is used for plants. So what does that mean? That these are the specified color which are used for representing a particular thing. It's not like that in India you are using green for representing plants and in USA you are using blue color for representing plants. No. If in India you are using green color for representing plants, then in USA also you will be using green color for representing plants and blue for representing water bodies. So specific colors are used to represent specific things. You can see here, this is one of the map. Students, best example if I will give you regarding map, we used to get invitation card in marriages now. In marriages, when we used to get invitation card, at the back side of the card, map is located. And in that map you will see what is mentioned, this particular thing is there, the line will go there, you have to approach to this particular banquet hall, or you have to go to at this particular location. So what is that? That is map only, where symbols are used to make you understand that this one is the appropriate place where you need to reach. In the same place we discuss conventional symbols. Above here one particular map is shown here, where you can see like these, what we studied, that these color used to represent trees. Then this is school, as I already told you, PTO. Then is Dumri, PS, postal services, RS, church or temple. So if you started moving from there, what you will say that first of all temple is there, then start move straight, then you will go to school, and then you will just keep on moving, then turn left, then again you will find a church. Go, trees are there, plateaus are there, river body is there. So in this way, wherever you want to go, wherever you want to reach, with the help of these symbols, you can easily denote a particular location. You can easily represent a particular location. So this is the use of symbols, and each color represent different thing. What does this symbol represent? Graveyard. I told you now, this represent river body, temple, trees, in this way. Then student, next is sketch. Now what is sketch? See students, if you have planned to construct a new house for yourself, then what will you do? You will approach to an architect and you are going to say that we want to have a sketch of the house, that if we are having this much area available with us, what can be the possible sketch for our new house. So that is sketch. So what is sketch? A sketch is a drawing mainly based on memory and spot observation and not to a scale. Sketch is always based on memory and spot observation. You went to architect just see that location and then decided on the basis of memories, okay, kitchen area can be there, okay, washroom area can be there, or lobby can be there. So on the basis of memory, he used to pick that on a piece of paper. That particular piece of paper on which he have mentioned all the details is called as sketch, which is memorized based. All the information is on memory based. Now, whatever construction you are going to do in future, you are going to follow that. Sometimes a rough drawing is required of an area to tell where a particular place is located with respect to other places. Sometimes accurate sketch will be there, or sometimes we used to prepare rough sketch. Then is, suppose you want to go to your friend's house but you don't know the way. You want to go to your friend's house but you don't know the way. Your friend may make a rough drawing to show you the way to his house. Yes, he can send you the rough sketch that if, as I show you in that diagram also, that this is the place where you will turn there or you will go like this, you are going to reach to my place. Thereafter, such a rough drawing is drawn without scales. Proper sketch is drawn with the help of scales. What are scales that we have already discussed, and rough sketch is drawn without scale, and it is called as sketch map. The next is plan. Now what is plan? A plan is a drawing of small area on a large scale. When you are representing a small area on a large scale, then that particular drawing is called as plan. A large scale map gives a lot of information, but there are certain things which may sometimes want to know. Yes, a small scale map or large scale map used to provide us most of the information or lot of information, but sometimes what happens that we exactly do not come to know about the thing that we want to know. For example, the length and breadth of a room, which can't be shown in a map. You have represented that this area is located for a room, but particular length and breadth of that room is not possible. So what is the plan? I already told you, the piece of paper. I am saying, for example, the architect of located room is there, or lobby is there, drawing room is there, washing room is there. So what will happen? Rooms are depicted on there, but not with the proper scale, not with the proper length and breadth of the room. So what does that mean? That is not depicting the proper information, accurate or exact information, which can't be shown in a map, because we cannot show these information on a map like length and breadth. So these information I can draw room in map, but if I want to get the complete information length and breadth, I cannot represent that on the piece of paper. For that I need to go with the sketch. In plan I can represent only the rough picture. The next is, at that time we can refer drawings drawn to scale, and that is called as plan. So students, that's it about our chapter.